Hi guys, so welcome back sa ating YouTube channel. So ito na yung chapter 2 para sa ating calculus 3. So in this chapter, we will discuss or we will talk about the functions of several variables. So pag sinabing several variables, so ito yung mga pinag-uusapan natin, kunyari f of x, y, f of x, y, z. Okay, so ilalagay na natin yung 3-dimensional dun sa mismong function na yun. Okay, or 2-dimensional also. Okay, so a real valued function f defined on a subset D of R squared. So again, a real valued function to f on a subset D of R squared is a rule that assigned to each point of x, y in D. So in D, so wala dapat yung dapat in D, a real number f of x, y. Okay, so in D, a real number of f of x, y. So the largest possible set D in R squared on which f is defined is called the domain of f. Okay, and the range of f is the set of all real numbers f of x, y as x, y varies over the domain D. A similar definition holds for the function f of x, y, z defined on points x, y, z in R cubed. Okay, so in Euclidean space. Okay, so una siyempre is pakilala muna natin ano ba isang real valued function. So gaya ng sabi niya, may dalawang klase ng real valued function na pag-uusapan tayo dito. So again, hindi ko sinasabing dyan lang. So pwede yan f of x, y, z, w. So pwede siya mag-extend. So depende sa subject. But since subject natin is calculus 3, so meaning hanggang dun lang tayo sa 3-dimensional. Okay, so example, find the domain of the following. So ito nga given. Ito, by the way, ito muna yung mga example ng ating real valued function defined on R squared and defined on R cubed. Okay, so ito ay R squared kasi x, y. Okay, so 2 variable lang yung ginagamit. So 2 independent variable. Okay, then this is the independent variable x, y. Then this is also an independent variable. And lastly, this is 3 independent variable. So define on R3 naman siya. So again, di pa naman talaga natin pwede sabihin define on R3 and R2 yan respectively kung hindi natin alam kung ano yung mga domain. Okay, so kung naalala mo naman sa function, so kailangan ikaw yung mag-set ng domain. Okay, so hindi sa lahat kasi ng oras binibigay yung domain eh. Okay, so dito na sa function, kung naalala mo doon sa function, binibigay ko na f is defined from R to R. Okay, so binibigay yung domain kasi kung magde-decide kung saan natin dadalhin. So dito, iba naman yung gagawin natin. Okay, so tayo magbigay ng domain para malaman natin na siya ay defined. Or meaning, yung function is magde-define dun sa R2 or R3. Okay, so for number 1, find the domain of the following. So for number 1, f of x, y is equal to xy. So anong klaseng domain, anong klaseng value ng x, y yung kailangan natin para siya ay maging defined. So note that's the domain. So ako muna, actually ako rin naman gagalaw lahat dito actually. So this is the domain of f is just equal to the set containing x, y such that x and y are both element of real number. Okay, so again, the domain of f is an ordered pair. So again, ordered pair yung domain niya such that yung x and y is element of R squared. Or pwede mo rin naman sabihin na yung domain niya is x, y element ng R squared. Okay lang din naman yun. Okay, so in some sense, pwede rin naman sabihin natin yung domain niya is just x, y element of R squared. Okay, so okay lang din naman yan. So ito, alam mo yan. So kumbaga, specific, kumbaga yun, ano yung x, y na yun? Ano yung x, ano yung y? So yung x and y are both real number. Okay, sila yung ordered pair na kung saan yung x and y are both real number. So ito naman is x, y element ng R squared. So meaning nasa Euclidean plane siya. Okay, rectangular coordinate plane. So ordered pair siya. Yun yung sinasabi na. So although pareho silang ordered pair. Okay, so for number 2, so ito medyo kakaiba, no? So, if f of x, y is equal to 1 over x minus y. So, again, ang goal natin is maging define siya. So, again, define na yung number 1 since ito lang yung domain. So, for all real number, define siya. So, kahit anong values na palit mong x and y dyan, as long as a real number, define yan. Kaya solve yan. So, pagdating naman sa number 2, syempre, may konting restriction. Kung napapansin mo yung denominator is x minus y. So, may tendency na siya ay mag-0. Ayaw natin dito na magkaroon tayo ng indeterminate form or ng undefined. Okay, so pagkaroon ng undefined, automatic siya ay hindi defined doon sa function, doon sa domain na binigay. Okay, so dito, napaka-strict natin. So, ano bang value ng x minus y yung magiging undefined siya. Sir, pwede po 1 minus 0. Kaya sir, 1, 1. 1, 1, undefined yan. Kasi 1 over 1 minus 1 over 1 minus 1 is undefined. Next is 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, negative 4, negative 4. So, pi, pi, e, e. Okay, so yun yung mga value na ganyan. So, meaning, pagdating sa domain nito, we have the domain of f is defined to be or equal to the set containing x, y. Okay, such that x is not equal to y. Okay, so understandable naman na hindi sila element ng element sila ng real number. So ang goal lang natin is dapat hindi sila equal. Okay, so yan na yung kanyang domain. Okay, next is for number 3. So ito medyo tricky yata, no? So paano ba natin mapapakita na siya ay paano ba natin mapapakita yung number 3 na yan yung kanyang domain? Okay, so I guess gagawin natin ng paraan, no? So pag may square root, hindi ko sure kung naituro sa inyo to dati nung senior high. So pag may square root, ang ginagawa para makuha mo yung domain, this is 1 minus x squared minus y squared. So ang goal is dapat greater than or equal sa 0 siya. Again, ang goal dapat is ganyan siya. Okay, so from there, gawa lang tayo ng konting manipulation. So this is just, transpose ko lang yung, I guess, transpose ko lang si negative 1 sa kabila. So, si 1 rather. So this is negative of x squared plus y squared. So nilabas ko lang. Then, greater than or equal sa negative 1. Okay, then divide both side or multiply both side by negative 1. So this is just x squared plus y squared. Then dahil nag-multiply ka ng negative, this is less than or equal sa 1. Okay, so I think pwede na yung ganyang definition. So now, pag di-define mo yung domain, so again hindi mo na kailangan hanapin yung value na x and y na yan. So the domain of f from this given is just equal to the set containing x, y. Okay, so such that si x squared plus y squared must be less than or equal to 1. So, anong klase mga value yun? Siyempre, hahanap ka. So, probably nasa unit circle siya. So, yung square root of 3 over 2, square root of 2 over 2. So, yun yung mga domain niya. Naglalaro dun. So, sa unit circle siya actually. Okay. So, yan yung ginagawa ni number 3. So, again, pag may square root greater than or equal to 0 lang, tapos hanap ka lang ng combination ng x and y, tapos check mo lang, determine mo lang, saan ba siya naglalagay. Okay. So, number 4. Okay. So, for number 4, no? If we have f of x, y, z, which is equal sa e raised to x plus y minus z. So, obvious naman, no? So, for any value of x plus y, x, y, and z, magde-define to. Okay, kahit mag-0 pa yan sa taas na yan, again, kahit mag-0 yung sa taas na yan, e raised to 0 is just 1. Kahit mag-negative yan, e raised to negative is magde-define pa rin yan. Okay, so for any value nyan, pwede yan. So, meaning dito, ang domain neto, so, ibang ballpen naman gamitin natin. So, ang domain neto, ng f natin is just equal to the set containing x, y, z, such that x, y, and z are all element of real number. Or, we can define this as x, y, z is an element of the Euclidean space. Again, space, kaya R cube. Okay, so again, define siya sa lahat ng yan. So, ganyan kumuha ng domain. So now, ang main goal talaga natin sa video na to is i-discuss yung limit. So, limit talaga ng real valued function or real valued multivariable function. So again, pinakalala ko yung domain para at least alam niyo kung paano kumuha ng domain dito. Okay, so we start with this. So the limit of real valued function or real valued multivariable function. So again, multivariable yung term. So definition, let a, b be a points in R squared. Okay, so points siya sa R squared o sa Euclidean plane, and let f of x, y be a real valued function defined on some set containing a, b, but necessarily defined at a, b. Okay, so a, b itself. So then we say that the limit of x, y equals to L as x, y approaches a, b, written as the limit of x, y approaches to limit of a, b. So, may nakikita yata kung parang lambda dyan. So, wag nyo pansinin yung lambda na yan, ha? Kung may nakasulat man dyan. So, wag nyo pansinin yan. So, approaches to a, b of f, of x comma y is equal to L. So, if given any epsilon, so ito sa advanced calculus nyo ito makikita. So, kaya hindi ako mag-epsilon delta proving dito. So, actually may proving talaga si calculus. Okay, so goal ko lang talaga ngayon sa calculus 3 is mapakita sa inyo ng lahat ng way ng possible solution or solving. Para pagdating ng proving, okay, alam ko yung gagawin. Kung ganun yung gagawin. Okay, so again, ang goal ko talaga is ganun lang. So again, if given any epsilon greater than 0, so there exists a delta greater than 0 such that f of x comma y minus L, or the absolute distance between this, is less than epsilon whenever 0 is less than the square root of x minus a squared plus y minus b squared less than delta. So again, this is the definition or the epsilon delta definition. So I guess hindi ko na to masyadong i-elaborate pa, pero in terms of definition, so ang goal lang natin is something na ang limit. So may drawing na dalawa, no? Zoom ko na lang din para makita nyo. Okay, so pag sinabi natin sa limit dun sa una, kunyari hindi siya multivariable, okay, so single variable. Kunyari as x approaches a, ayun yung point A. Kapansin mo yung x approaches lang kay x, tas may approaches lang kay a, tas ito approaches lang sa a. Ang ibig sabihin ng x approaches a, hindi niya makukuha si a. Pero kung napansin mo, usually sa limit anong ginagawa natin? Sa limit, kunyari x approaches to 2. Yung 2 sa substitute mo. Okay, pero ang ginagawa talaga ni limit, or yung formal definition talaga na ginagawa ni limit is, kunyari, as x approaches 2, yung mga value, so kunyari lang as x approaches 2, sinabi niya x approaches 2, ang ginagawa lang niya talaga is, kung ito yung 2, okay, so may mga value or may mga sequences na papunta dyan. So yung x na yun, tapos ito, dyan. So, kumbaga, symmetrical lang sila. Kumbaga, asymmetric lang actually. So, papunta lang ako kay 2 pero never ko mamimit si 2. Okay? So, actually, pinaka pwede nyo makuha is 2.0000001 or yung 1.999999999 something. Okay? Without considering yung pag-round up. Okay? Yun yung idea talaga ng limit. So, again, ang ginagawa nyo kasi nung high school or something nung sa ibang math nyo, sa ibang calculus nyo. So, dahil sa limit, apply ko lang yung limit. So, iniisip mo, okay, substitution lang din si limit. No, hindi substitution si limit. Okay, at mas maiintindihan mo siya pag nag-advanced calculus tayo. So, ano ba yung idea ng limit na yan? Okay, so again, and in definition now. Now, in two-dimensional, x, y approaches a, b, ay yung itsura. Okay, so yun din, no, approaches. Kita mo yung arrow. So, meaning yung arrow, approaches lang ako doon sa point, pero never kong imimit yan. Never ako magiging yan. Okay, yun yung ibig sabihin. So, approaching a point in different dimension. So, yan yung ibig sabihin. Again, so hoping nagkaroon ka ng konting insights. Ano ba talaga ang ginagawa ng limit? Okay, so now, proceed tayo dito, no? So, sa example, so yan, ang idea lang natin dito is just, paano natin gagawin yung limit ng two-dimensional or ng more than two variable or more than one variable. Just like the limit nung ginagawa natin. So, ang gagawin natin, kunyari, ordered pair siya. Kunyari, x, y approaches to 2, 0. Yung x is 2, yung y is 0. Okay, substitute ko lang yun doon. Ganun lang yung idea. So, actually, sinasubstitute. Pero yung idea talaga, again, technically, mathematically, is nag-a-approach. Pero yung solving o yung way, yung process para ma-solve is sinasubstitute lang natin. Okay, so, yun yung gagawin natin. So, now, proceed tayo dito, no? So yun, sensya na ako, medyo may color. So natamad ako actually i-type to. So kinopy-paste ko lang to. Actually parang screenshot tapos kinopy-paste ko lang siya dun. So kasi medyo tagal na sa pag-type. Kaya sana hoping na maintindihan nyo. Okay, so for example, number 1, we have the limit of x, y. So we have the limit of xy over x squared plus y squared as x, y approaches to 1, 2. So again, yung idea nga is yung x approaches to 1, y is approaches to 2. So, yun lang yung gagawin natin. So, let us substitute the value. So, applying the limit, this is just equals 1 multiplied by 2 all over, okay, all over 1 square plus 2 square. Okay, so this is just equals 2 over 5 kasi 2 square plus 1 square is just 5. So, therefore, the limit is just 2 over 5. So, napakadali lang talaga ng limit. Okay, next is the limit of x, y approaches to 0, 0 as xy over xy plus y squared. Okay, so check natin ano ba mangyayari yan pag ganyan naman yung ginawa natin. Okay, so this is just equals so 0 times 0 all over 0 plus 0. Okay, 0 square plus 0 square. So, this is just equals 0 over 0. And note that this is undefined. Okay, so walang sagot na undefined dito. Ang sagot dito is DNE. Again, ang sagot dito is DNE. DNE means do not exist. Whenever naka-experience ka ng 0 of 1, something over 0 or indeterminate form. Okay, so this is do not exist or does not exist. So may mga bagay na hindi nag-e-exist. So sila yun. So does not exist. Okay, yun ibig sabihin. So again, pag wala kapag undefined yung value, automatic ilalagay mo is DNE. Wag undefined. So mamali ang kapag undefined yung ginawa mo. Okay, so wanna proceed tayo dito, no? So again, ganoon lang kadali siya actually. So next is we have the theorem. So we have this theorem. So theorem 2.1, suppose that the limit of f of x comma y, so medyo malabo siya. So f of x comma y as x comma y approaches to a comma b, and the limit of g of x comma y as x comma y approaches to a comma b both exist. Okay, since the term both exist, so meaning hindi sila DNE. Okay, so and that k is some scalar. Then, so again, kung may k scalar tayo, so then the limit of f of x comma y plus and minus g of x comma y is just equal sa, so bracket yan, hindi yan absolute value. So the bracket nung limit of f of x comma y x comma y approaches to a comma b plus and minus blah blah blah, ganun din. Okay, then kung meron tayong constant, so similar lang, lalabas lang din siya sa loob ng limit, which is k times to the limit of f of x comma y. Next, the limit of f of x comma y times g of x comma y. So katulad nga lang din sa limit, sa product. So sa product ng limit, so this is just the limit of their product, the product of their limit rather. Okay, so paghihiwalayin ko. Now, pag division, so may division tayo, so f of x comma y over g of x comma y, so di-divide lang natin. So kumbaga magkakaroon na ng limit sa taas, magkakaroon ng limit sa ilalim. Then, provided na yung limit ng g of x comma y is non-zero. So again, kung limit ng g of x comma y sa ilalim is 0, hindi mo pwedeng i-apply si letter D. Okay, and lastly, if the absolute value of f of x comma y minus L is less than or equal sa g of x comma y for all x comma y, if the limit and if limit of g of x comma y as x comma y approaches to a comma b is equal to 0, then the limit of f of x comma y as x comma y approaches a comma b is equal to L. Okay, so yan yung gagamitin natin actually dito sa number 4. Okay, so dito sa example na to. So again, yung letter E yung gagamitin. So again, same rule lang din naman yung kung paano yung nakita sa calculus, no? Sa calculus 1 nyo. Okay, now show that the limit of f of x comma, show that the limit of y to the fourth over x squared plus y squared as x comma y approaches to 0 is equal to 0. So note, kung i-apply lang natin yung usual solution, so kunyari sinabstitute lang natin, so this is just equal sa, kunyari scratch, so scratch na sir, so in-apply ko lang yung limit, so this is just 0 raised to the 4 over 0 square plus 0 square. So this is just equal sa 0 over 0, which is DNE. Okay, supposedly dapat DNE siya. Pero sabi nga na, show that the limit of f x comma y approaches to 0 comma 0 of y to the fourth over x squared plus y squared is equal to 0. So we need to show na yung kanyang limit is 0. Okay, so check natin paano natin siya hahanapin. Okay, so ngayon anong goal natin? Ang goal natin is gagamitin natin yung theorem 2.1e. So through the use of theorem 2.1e. So sabi, if the limit of f of x comma y minus L, okay, minus L. So again, yung f of x comma y natin dito, no? So ito yung proof. So yung f of x comma y natin dito ay si f of x comma y natin is yung mismong buong function. Yung limit natin is yung 0. Okay, so ang sabi sa pattern, if f of x comma y minus 0 is less than or equal sa g of x comma y. Okay, so again, g of x comma y. So paano naman natin makukuha pala by the way yung g of x comma y? Okay, so wait, check ko lang din yung value. Okay, so by the way, ito ay hindi undefined. So before ko tuloy, again, this is indeterminate form. Sorry, this is IF. Indeterminate form. Indeterminate form. So hindi siya IF. Pero DNA pa rin siya. Again, may dalawang klase ng DNA. It's either undefined or indeterminate form. So, pakita ko na lang sa inyo somehow or kung kailan man, kung magkaroon ako ng time, papakita ko na lang sa inyo kung ano yung ibig sabihin nun. Okay, so now, we will use, again, goal natin is ito yung f of x comma y, no? So, ang goal natin is mapakita natin na siya ay something less than sa something equal sa 0. So, again, kung ito yung buong function natin, yung y to the fourth over x squared plus y squared, yan yung f of x comma y. So, kailangan natin magkaroon ng g of x comma y. So, kumbaga, magkakaroon tayo ng konting transpo, parang observation dito. So, observe or notice that, okay, so if we have y to the fourth, okay, this is simply equal lang sa square root ng y squared raised to the 4. Again, ito lang muna ino-observe ko. So again, if we have y to the fourth, that is simply equal lang sa square root ng y squared raised to the 4. Okay? And so salay ka lang na and so we have 0 is less than or equal sa y to the fourth less than or equal sa square root ng x squared plus y squared raised to the 4. Okay, so saan mo nakuha yan? Ang ginawa ko, yung numerator sa denominator, pinag-compare ko lang. So, kumbaga, from y to the fourth, kaya ko siyang gawin ganyan. Ngayon, ang alam ko, since alam kong greater than 0 siya, so 0 is less than or equal sa y to the fourth, less than or equal dito. So, anong ginawa ko? Kailangan ko lang gawin, lagyan siya ng square root, tas raised to the 4. Okay? So, meaning, kinuha ko lang yung bagay na, although hindi ko pa nakuha yung x squared plus y squared, square root of x squared plus y squared lang siya. Okay, notice na pag sinimplify natin to, this is just equal sa this is just 0 less than or equal sa y to the fourth. So, pag pinasok natin yung raised to the fourth na yan, no? So, 1/2 yung exponent. So, 1/2 times 4, that is 2. So, meaning this is just x squared plus y squared raised sa 2. Okay? So, ayan namin. So, may nakuha na akong gagamitin inequality. So, meaning, kaya kong magkaroon ng bagong g of f of x, y. So, ang goal kasi is, if f of x, y minus L, so, yun na yung lalagay natin. So, the absolute value of f of x, y, this is y to the fourth over x squared plus y squared minus 0, kasi ito yung L, is less than or equal sa g of x, y. Yung g of x, y ko is something galing lang dito. Again, something galing lang dito. Kumbaga, papalitan ko lang yung numerator lang niya ng x squared plus y squared raised sa 2 all over x squared plus y squared. So, kumbaga, sabi ko, si y to the fourth, alam ko na less than or equal siya dito, which is ito, x squared plus y squared raised sa 2. So, pinalit ko lang siya. Kumbaga, y to the fourth, pinalitan ko lang doon para siya yung bagong g of f of x, y ko. Okay, so now, pag sinimplify natin to, no? So, kung papansin mo, pag sinimplify natin to, this is just equal lang sa something na, diba, this is less than or equal dito. So, ito yung limit na to. Okay na tayo dyan. Nag-apply yan. So, ngayon, pag sinimplify natin ito, so, itong right side na to, pag sinimplify natin, this implies lang na yung x squared plus y squared raised sa 2 over x squared plus y squared, this is just equal lang sa x squared plus y squared. Okay, this is approaches to 0. Okay, as x, y approaches to 0, 0. So, ngayon, ano ginawa ko? From this function, binago ko lang siya. Kumbaga, okay, ito ka, baguhin kita na ito. Palitan kita ng bagong function through observation. Okay, so again, ito ay something analysis type na yung ginagawa. So, kailangan ko na ipakita sa inyo yung using nung theorem 2.e. So, again, by theorem 2.e. So, this is by theorem 2.1e. Okay, so next is, since ganyan na nangyari, approaches to 0 na siya, therefore the limit as x, y approaches to 0, 0 ng y to the fourth over y squared plus y squared is equal to 0. And this is done. Okay, at ganun lang siya. Simple. So again, ganun yung gamit. So magpakita ka ng ganito, less than na. So ibig sabihin, papayag ka na if yung limit ng g of x, y. So again, ano ba limit nito? Ang limit nito is equal to 0. Yung limit ng, ito yung g of x, y natin na bago. Okay, ang limit niya na sinimplify is just 0. Okay, yung 0 na yung limit niya, then ibig sabihin yung limit na ng f of x comma y at yung L, which is ano yung L? L natin is 0. So kaya yun yung naging sagot niya. Okay, so now move on tayo ulit. So bago natin tapusin tong topic nito. So next is about a real valued function. Okay, so may susunod pa tayong topic. Medyo mahaba-haba pa to. Okay, so ayan, no. So a real valued function f of x comma y with domain D in R squared is continuous at point A comma B in D if the limit of f of x comma y as x comma y approaches to AB. So lagi ko nasama yung ano na yan, kung ano man yun. So again, disregard nyo yung lambda na yun, na type ko yata. Okay, so we say that f of x comma y is a continuous function if it is continuous at every point in D. Okay, so again, para masabi natin na yung real valued function f of x comma y is continuous, dapat lang mapakita natin to. Na yung limit niya ng f of x comma y as x comma y approaches to a comma b is just equal sa a comma b. Okay, so f of a comma b rather. Pakilagyan to ng f. So buti napansin agad ni sir. So f of a comma b. So then we say, pag ganun nangyari, we say that it is a continuous function at every point in the domain D. So now, define a function f of x comma y on all of R squared as follows. So f of x comma y is 0 if and only if, or if x comma y is 0 comma 0. Next, it is y to the fourth over x squared plus y squared if f of x comma y is not equal to 0. Okay, so anong kailangan natin gawin? Kailangan natin gawin is syempre kunin natin yung unang limit. So since piecewise function siya, okay, so note that the limit as x comma y approaches to a comma b nung f of x comma y, okay, 0 comma 0 na pa to. So 0 comma 0. Okay, so note that the limit of f of x comma y as x comma y approaches to 0. So pag 0 yung f of x comma y natin, this is just equal sa 0. Okay, or simply this is just f of 0 comma 0. Okay, so nagawa ko yung isa. Yung limit of f of x comma y as x comma y approaches to a comma b is f of a comma b. 0 comma 0 to, naging f of 0 comma 0. Okay, so ganun yung nangyari. Okay, next is, observe na sa pangalawa, if the limit as x comma y, so ito medyo mahirap talagang isulat. So f ng a comma b rather, so a comma b na to. So nung f of x comma y, okay, so note na anong gagawin dito. Gagamitin natin ang pangalawang function. Since hindi sila 0, ginamit ko is a comma b. Anong gagawin ko? Yung b is magiging b to the fourth, kasi y to the fourth yun, all over a squared plus b squared, which is just equal lang sa f of a comma b, which is ayun din yung nakuha natin. So again, yung limit niya, pag 0 comma 0 is f of 0 comma 0, a comma b, that is f of a comma b. So therefore, then, f of x comma y is continuous on all of R squared. Okay, so this is not a done symbol. So walang done symbol na lalagay. So ganyan na mag-verify pag gusto mong pakita na siya ay continuous function. So again, that's all for this video. Hoping na may natutunan ka. So again, for next video, pag-uusapan naman natin yung partial derivative. So yun, medyo may solving na ulit tayong gagawin.